Hi guys, welcome to Co-Parenting with a Narcissist 101. I'm Kate. Thank you so much for subscribing to all my new subscribers and to all my old subscribers. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about narcissist and karma. And I'm sure you guys obviously have heard so much about them getting their karma. I do believe there's every action have a reaction, and I believe you reap what you sow. I have no doubt, obviously, that this is eventually going to happen to these people. Whether it takes some of people that heard of some of them 6 months, a year, 2 years, I believe it's something that eventually will catch up with them. But I look at these people like, imagine like you're taking a test. It is a course. You're in class, you take a test, and no matter how many times you take this test, you always get an F. No matter how much you try, and no matter how much you try to cheat in the class, like you tried to copy from somebody else's paper, or you brought something else in to copy, something to cheat on the test, you still come out failing, and you fail woefully, like you fail like an F, every single time. And check this out though, the test is the same questions, numbered the same way. 1 to 5 is numbered exactly the same way, the same questions, but every single time you take this test, you fail. Even if you're cheating, even if you brought in the textbook, even if you're trying to, steal from your neighbors, you still fail this test every single time. It doesn't matter. That's how I look at narcissists and these crazy people, because these are the people that I've chosen. Yes, I say that is a disorder, but this is the people that actually chosen to treat people the way they treat people. These are people that actually chosen to live life the way they live life, and they spend time go chasing one shadow from one to the next, and not being able to catch it. They're like that person that's taking the same test, the same questions over and over and over again, but every single time failing. These people are failing in life. And I can't imagine what it will feel like to be living this life, like you constantly struggling at a particular thing. No matter what you do, no matter how much way you're trying to cheat, manipulate the teacher, manipulate your classmates, every single time you still fail. And somehow everybody else in the class gets up and they take the test, and they keep moving, they move to the next class, and you're still there taking this test. That is how I see the narcissist. And these people are fully aware of the misery they are causing people. They are fully aware that every time they get into a relationship with you, they have an end date, they have an exit date. They already know. Like they already dug these holes for themselves that eventually gonna fall into, that it's gonna cause you to either run away from them, or you figuring them out, and then they'll be forced to jump ship. But they already know from day one when they get in. And then they carry these mistakes, or conscious mistake, I don't know what else to call it. They carry all these failures to the next one and do exactly the same thing. No change. And why they're doing exactly the same thing, they're actually aware that I just screwed up a really nice guy, I just screwed up a really nice girl. They were doing this for me, they were doing that. Because you being an empathic person is obviously, trying to figure this person out. You're trying to figure this person, you give me the benefit of the doubt. You're trying to bend, you're trying to move your boundaries every time, just so to accommodate whatever it is you thought that was. maybe you fix whatever the problem is. Of course, as we later find out, that's can be fixed. So these people go to bed every day knowing fully well that they screwed you over, that you were really a nice person, that you were really a genuine loving person, that you actually loved them. But because they cannot get themselves to love you back, because loving you back means now they are vulnerable, and God forbid that they are. And because being vulnerable is being weak, is being inferior. And because they cannot be in the inferior position, they have to be superior, so they cannot allow themselves to feel this way. So what is the best thing to do? The best thing to do is to diminish those kind of things, to belittle those kind of feelings that you have, to intentionally hurt people for having those feelings that they cannot, as much as they might want to, they cannot have. So they go to bed every day taking this test, stealing all the answers, stealing all the cheat sheet or whatever from everybody, but still when the paper is graded, they still get an F. It doesn't matter. So I when I think of karma, I'm like, I know that, as much as you want, the tree to fall on them, or them get hit by a bus or something, I'm like, how can you live like that, knowing feel like you go to bed, you are restless, because there's a playback on repeat of every atrocity you've committed throughout, from one person to the next, one person to the next. You jump onto the next person. In your mind, you're like, okay, this time I'm going to get it right. This is going to be great. But bam, you follow the same things that you did in previous one. Like, you cannot stop yourself. Constantly sabotaging yourself. Cutting your nose to spite your face. It does not matter. From one person to the next. That to me actually is like karma, because these people don't rest. As much as they pretend to, like they have it together, which is everything is a pretense anyway. They're always pretending. As much as they pretend to show that, oh, I'm in control, and yet they're the most uncontrolled person in the room. So every day they go to bed, all this like playing back in their head of every single thing, every single good person that they've tried to mess up, everybody that they hurt. So they live trying to pretend that, okay, this is going to be the new one. This is going to be the great one. This is going to be the great new love. And, everything's going to work out. This person already got me. And then it's back to, oh, crap. That wasn't it. Oh, God, I got to start again. And they're constantly on this race. They are never relaxed the whole time. They are constantly running around the field. They are constantly retaking this test with the same questions, but failing it. That to me is the karma. Yes, I would like to see other stuff happen, which eventually, it will happen. Some of us will see it in 6 months. Some of us will be in a year. Some of us will be 2 years. Eventually, some sort of thing that we can see happens. You're like, it finally caught up with them. Either they get hold of somebody else that is like them, or worse, and then they'll be on the receiving end of the bad treatment they gave you, or they get caught up with the law or something, all that I'm sure will still happen. You know, it will still happen because, like what you do to people, it's what you do, what you reap. So is what you reap. But I think the misery that stays with deep people, because as much as they pretend, they know fully well what they did to you. They know fully well how good of a person you are. They know. And as they're even laying down with the new supply, they already see that this person too is good, probably, who knows, but still, they're still empty. They're still failing the test. Still. They're still failing. So that knowledge of every day, it seemed like they walked off without any, they left you, or left you and the children, or left the relationship, and seemed they rode off into the sunset with this brand new shiny supply that they are all happy and thriving and everything. But how are we even judging the happiness by what they're posting on social media? Of course not. And that's not true. In my case, I can tell you forget all that. That is not true. So besides what they're portraying out there, how do you know they're happy? By saying they're happy. People that are genuinely happy don't even talk about it. You can see it. You don't hide stuff like that. So other than that, there's nothing to say these people are happy. The narcissist, my ex narcissist here, sends text messages back then, or emails, 2-3:30 in the morning. Who is awake at 2:30 in the morning if you're not working? And you've just got into a brand new relationship. This is like your honeymoon phase. Like you should be doing, what you're supposed to be doing, or sleeping. Why are you texting your ex at that late in the night? Why? Because you realize 2 weeks in that, wait a minute, what did I just do? But then that doesn't stop the narcissist from doing it to the next person too. It doesn't matter. So I think the karma, with all other stuff that might happen, get into trouble with the law, or something happens, God knows that they do deserve a whole lot of things that happen for all the hurt they caused. But I keep wondering, like, them living the way they live, knowing knowing exactly what they're doing, and knowing exactly how they're hurting people, and knowing that those people don't deserve it, is karma. It's got to be miserable living like that. It has to be miserable living like that. Like 24/7, 7 days a week, every single day of the year. You cheat and try to con your way, yet you still fail the same test with the same questions every single time. That's got to be miserable. That's got to be karma. And you carry this over to the next relationship, and it keeps going. It keeps multiplying. The more stuff you do, the more movies that you got to play back in your head at night of stuff that you did. And then you wake up and you have to put on this show to convince you or everybody else that is, social media. So narcissist and karma, yeah, I think before we even see the ones that we will see, that the misery that these people live with is the karma. They are restless, and they're going to sit over there and watch you get your lives together, pick up your pieces, glue them back together, stand up, and get moving and start thriving again. And they're still miserable. They might even have more money than you by the time you finish, because they mess you up in every way possible. But here you are with your little $5, happy, doing okay. They have $5 million over there and miserable as hell. And they watch you, knowing fully well what they did to you, knowing that you didn't deserve it, but yet can't stop themselves from doing it, the same thing, to maybe another good person. And they live with this misery every day. That, guys, I think is the karma. Before we even see any physical manifestation outside of what, the repercussions of what they did, I think that's got to be the biggest one, which starts immediately the jump ship from you. Well, even while they were there doing what they're doing, gaslighting you, abusing you in every way, shape, or possible. That's got to be the karma. All right, guys, let me know what you think. We'll see you in the next video. As always, you get your mind in order. Get your mind right and everything else will fall into place. Take care.